Welcome to Conversations with the Experts. Now, for this conversation, I'm joined by three experts: Tina Long, Janice Hayes, and Tara Huberty. And we're going to be focusing on issues that may affect women who are total laryngectomies. Voice and bodily changes are a challenge for most people who have undergone a laryngectomy. And for women, these changes can be especially challenging. So in this conversation with these experts, we're going to address some of those challenges. So ladies, thank you so much for being a part of this. I think it's an important conversation that needs to be had. And I know I've worked with women who have had a laryngectomy, and they've had some of these concerns. What does that mean in terms of how I perceive myself as being feminine, as being beautiful, as being vibrant, right? So to start off with, I thought maybe each of you could address whether or not this was a concern going into your surgery. Did you think about this prior to the surgery? Tina, I'll let you start.
Found out I had cancer on a Friday. My surgery was on a Tuesday, the following Tuesday, so I didn't have a chance to think about my voice. And mainly, like what you said, I just wanted to get it over and done with and get the cancer out of me. So that never was an issue for me.
Right. You didn't have time to think about it.
It helped a lot.
All right. Janice or Tara?
I didn't have a whole lot of time before I had my surgery either, because it seemed like it just found out doing tests, and I had two teenagers still at home, and I was mostly just thinking about being alive to finish raising them was my biggest concern.
Sure. Tara,
Yeah.
What was that like?
I had about a 2-week period to think about it. And I had a 2-year-old at home. So I was really focused on just being alive to raise my daughter.
Yeah.
I did meet with the speech pathologist right before I went in for surgery. I was a 50-50 chance if I was going to have a laryngectomy or not. They were going to try to save my voice because of how young I was. And I came out, obviously, as a laryngectomy, which was fine. But when I did meet with my speech pathologist, I was trying out different electrolarynxes. We were watching videos together on people with TEPs, and I cried. I didn't want to lose my voice, but in the end, I was just happy to be alive.
Yeah. So I'm hearing from Janice and you, Tara, that, and I know this was for you too, Tina, that just surviving so you could be there for your family, whether that's raising children or seeing your grown children live their lives, that was one of the first concerns, right? So after the surgery, obviously voice changes. And so if you can kind of share how that affected you, if it affected you, because I don't want to assume that it affects everyone. Everyone's different, right? But did it affect you, and sort of how you reconciled that, how you sort of made peace with the different sounding voice?
First of all, I had a voice as an alpha voice. So my voice wasn't high pitched. And it took a while to get to the point, 23 years to get to the point that I am. But I realized if anybody looked at me or asked about my voice, the main thing I would say is I had throat cancer. They removed my vocal cords, and I sound good without vocal cords, and they could only agree.
I had a real girly voice before, and so getting used to my P voice was like, ew. At first I wasn't great with it, but hey, now it would seem weird not to have it, I guess, because it's 24 years.
So it's become your voice. You sort of, would you say you kind of grow into it?
I think you do. At first, you're not crazy about it. And then it took me about a year to get the hands-free working. And once I got the hands-free working, it was better. I like that better.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I was at a conference once, one of the IAL conferences, and I remember there was a laryngectomy. There was a man who said, I hate my voice. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And so many people said, you never have to like it, but you find you make peace with it after a while. It's not a question of liking. Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a while to lean into it, I guess,
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So how was that for you, Tara? What was your voice like prior in terms of pitch?
I wouldn't say it was super high pitched. I mean, I did have like a high pitched customer service voice, but other than that, it was feminine, but not super high pitched. And then I went 9 months without talking and learned to speak. I was excited that I could talk, and I still work in customer service. So I get, every day that I'm working, oh, you sound sick. You sound like you have a cold. You sound like this. And then I tell them, I have no vocal cords. And I actually, like Tina said, I sound pretty good for not having vocal cords. And, they immediately apologize and agree.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that.
So I wonder, did your method of voice restoration that you chose, we've got Tara, you're using beautiful esophageal speech, and Tina and Janice, you have TEP speech. Was your choice of voice restoration influenced by the sound?
I think mine was. Oh, I'm sorry, Tina.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think mine definitely. I just wanted to speak as normally as possible was my goal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I could just get on with it. And I remember my sons, the first time they said, Mom, quit yelling. I thought, yes, they think I can yell. Yay.
That's important for a mom, isn't it? Right? I think we'd all agree. You need to be able to do that. So Tina, was that a concern? Did you choose TEP? Because, we tend to think TEP sounds a little bit more natural, like esophageal versus the artificial larynx. Was that a consideration?
Definitely. I didn't like wah sound, even though you can tell people who they are, even with an electric laryngeal, electric, it was important for me to be as standing out least, I didn't want to stand out and be too different. And after I met Janice, she came to the meeting that I was a first timer, and I met her and saw how good she sounded. Mm-hmm. And I knew I was home free, that it was going to be okay.
Yeah, she was a great role model.
Soul sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's important to have a role model, isn't it? We
were both role models for each other, really.
Yes.
And it made the journey. We met when we're new laryngectomies and it's made the journey. Well, it's always so great to go through hard times with your best friend and going through the same thing, you know.
Mhm, mhm. So I'm
He's
so
one of my besties for sure.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
I feel the love from here. Plus, I've been in the same room with you two, and I know that's true. That and I think you bring up an important point about having someone there, having and being a role model for each other is so helpful. So Tara, I don't, I know for you, it was a while before you learned to speak and didn't really, it sounds like you didn't have that kind of support. What was that like for you?
Well, so I didn't have a laryngectomy for support, but I had a lot of family and friends that I leaned on, and they spoke for me when needed, or I used my phone, got a text app to speak for me when I needed. I didn't really choose, I would say, esophageal speech. I just kind of picked it up, and then I didn't even know it was an option. I actually went in for TEP consult, and my doctor was like, "No, you might be quiet, but you're talking. We're not gonna give you a TEP."
Not great, by the way.
Thank you. And it's like over time it'll get louder. And he was correct. Over time, I was able to voice louder.
That's difficult way to talk, I think. That you do sound great. I can't do esophageal.
I tried to, and I just, I guess because I had my puncture at the time of surgery, and I got my DP in real quick, and it was pretty easy. And I tried a few times talking to esophageal, and I'm like, boy, this is hard.
Yeah, Tara's amazing. Tara, I think you're amazing and essentially self-taught, right? Yeah.
Unbelievable. You sound great.
Yeah, she sounds awesome. Awesome. So, we talk about the bodily changes that go along with having a total laryngectomy. And I wonder how that affected how you felt physically about yourself, because so much of what the world sees, it's visual. They look at you. Did that impact you? How did you sort of cope with the bodily changes that occurred? And how are you feeling now about your femininity, being vital, beautiful? Janice, yeah, go ahead.
Me too, Artina. Well, it does take a while. I think after having the laryngectomy, I am a pretty confident person. But I did lose a lot of confidence with that. I just felt it was a real kick in the butt, And I just had a lot of support from my family, and Jim, was just awesome. And he didn't miss a beat, he didn't think there was, hey, you're my girl, I don't care, Yeah. And I think getting a little more used to it and what really helped me was going to the meetings. We used to have a big club back then, and seeing other people at laryngectomy getting on with their lives. And I think the confidence starts growing, and then you're like, I'm too sexy for myself,
Awesome.
It takes a moment, I think.
Sure. Just dealing with all of the changes that have occurred. I think you're just off balance after something like that too. You need to find your balance again, right?
Well, losing your voice, it's a big part of you. It's almost, to me, I always compare it, it's like losing a limb,
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah.
So it does take, and I think what helped is Tina and I got real involved with the Voice Masters in Atlanta, and we started doing a lot of tobacco ed talks and public speaking. And I think that, when you help other people, it helps you too. And that's so true.
Absolutely.
So that really helped me get my footings and be more confident and feel better about myself.
Yeah. So Tara, I know that, and I've known you for a little while, never seen you face to face other than on Zoom, but I've watched your journey on Facebook, and it seems like since this happened to you, you have really worked at sort of recapturing your health. You're working out, you're in the gym. By what you post, it seems like you're in the best shape of your life. Was that your coping strategy for kicking butt with this?
Yeah. At first I was really scared and I was shy. Like I would constantly wear scarves, cover up. I wouldn't talk to, well, I couldn't talk, but I wouldn't go out of my way and talk to people or do anything uncomfortable. I tried to stay kind of hidden, but then once I learned I'm just breathing differently. That's it. Once I learned that, I decided I was gonna take my health back, and I am in the best shape of my life that I've ever been in. And I work out every day, and I will go up and talk to people. I'm not really scared anymore. I might sound different, look different, but if you show the confidence, they don't really notice right away.
So Tina, what was this all like for you?
The bodily part of it with the whole hole in the neck was kind of a shocker. But again, Janice and I went to our first IAO meeting together, and she showed me how to dress and be pretty. And then when we met people, women, it kind of just fortified how we felt and gave us more confidence. Janice would show me with earrings and scarves, and so she brought all of that out of me, really.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Sort of dressing and kicking up that part of it a little bit can help you feel better. And, that's part of, for a different type of cancer, the Look Good, Feel Better programs that the American Cancer Society does for women going through cancer who lose their hair, sort of being beautiful and feeling good. And a lot of it is, scarves and jewelry and makeup, and it does make you feel better, I think. So absolutely.
Yeah, I've lost my hair too with the breast cancer.
Right.
I was asked if I wanted to be part of that, and I'm like, nah, I really didn't feel the need because, I already been there, done that. I can take care of that business,
You could have taught the class.
Yeah, give me a wig and I'm good,
Right. Absolutely. So what advice would you give a woman who is about to face total laryngectomy? What would you want her to know going into the surgery?
Number one, to go with your feelings. You're mourning the loss of your voice, and you need to cry. You need to do the things that make you feel better by getting out your feelings, laughing, watch a funny movie, and pamper yourself. I know every Saturday night David had an obligation, so I would I'd soak in the bathtub listening to music. I fixed myself a dinner, and I listened to some comedy things, and I was like pampering myself. I was showing myself self-love. And I think that was a journey I did on my own.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, The self-love is important. I think taking care of yourself and knowing that that's not selfish to do that, that you need to do that in order to heal and to be there for the other people in your life who are important to you, that it's okay to pamper yourself, to take time for yourself, and to allow yourself to feel whatever it is that's coming up. There's no right or wrong here, right? However you feel is how you feel. Yeah, Janice?
And then give yourself time. I think a lot of people think, I should be over this, but you just got to give yourself time to. It just takes time. There's no rushing it. There's just really no rushing it.
No, there's not. You're absolutely right. Everybody heals, and however they define healing, mentally, physically, everybody heals a little bit differently. And I think we need to honor that, right? To allow ourselves, especially. I think it's easy for us to say that about others. Oh, take your time. But when it comes to ourselves, I think sometimes we can be hard on ourselves and say, I should be over this by now, or I should have moved on by now. But that's not true, is it? I mean, it just takes whatever time it's going to take.
Because everything is hard, it just seems like everything was so hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tara?
I would say do something every day that you enjoy, that brings you happiness. And also reach out to another laryngectomy, even if it's a woman. Reach out to another lady laryngectomy. Doctor with your concerns and questions.
Yeah, because there are some things that are unique to being a woman. And this is probably for another conversation because we are going to do a part 2 of this. But Tara, for example, I know you gave birth to twins after having your laryngectomy, which most women, I think, are told that childbirth is going to be difficult or not possible. And so we've got a lot more to talk about in our next conversation. But I think it is important to talk to another woman laryngectomy, if possible, but at least to someone who's gone through it, because I think often people facing this surgery are told a lot of things that may not necessarily be true. And with motivation and support, you can do anything, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, ladies, I so appreciate you and your willingness to have this conversation with me. And I hope that this will help other people going through this surgery, maybe if they're about to have the surgery or they've had it, and maybe even someone who's been struggling for a while, even though the surgery may have been a year ago or 2 years ago. And I especially appreciate you talking about some of these more sensitive issues. And as I mentioned, we do have a lot more to talk about. So I want to encourage everybody to stay tuned for part 2 of our conversations with the experts. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.